Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're going to look past all the flashy highlights of the Kansas City Chiefs offense and dig into what might be the team's real secret weapon. I'm talking about a defense that might actually be the reason they're so dominant.
And hey, let's be real, I don't blame anyone for that. When you hear the Chiefs, your mind immediately goes to that high-flying, absolutely electric offense. And for good reason, right?
I mean, the offense is fun to watch, it's sexy, it gets all the headlines. But is that the whole story? What we're going to do today is explore whether the team's true strength, the thing that could win them a championship, is actually on the other side of the ball. All right, so let's get into it. And to do that, we got to start by talking about the offense. Because, well, you have to acknowledge why it gets all the love from fans, from the media, from everybody, really. I mean, the stats kind of speak for themselves, don't they? You've got Patrick Mahomes playing at an MVP level. You got key guys like Rashee Rice back in the mix, and they've been on an absolute tear, scoring 28-plus points in 5 straight games. This offense is just an explosive machine that puts up points week after week. But then, something started to shift. A few weeks back, they had this tough game against the Detroit Lions, and, the story around this team just quietly started to change. You could feel something clicking for that defense.
In that game, the defense put on an absolute clinic. We're talking about a really good Lions offense, and the Chiefs held them to under 300 total yards and just 17 points. They basically shut down their best players. It really felt like a statement, a performance they could build on, and boy, did they.
And look, that game against Detroit, it wasn't some one-off thing. It wasn't a fluke. It was actually the beginning of a truly dominant, almost historic run that has rocketed this defense into the elite of the elite. So let's step back from just one game for a second. When you look at where they rank across the whole league, well, the data tells a pretty staggering story.
Okay, get this. They are second in the entire NFL in points allowed per game. Just let that sink in for a minute. Teams just can't score on them. And it's not just about the scoreboard either. It's about total domination. They're also third in the NFL in yards allowed. So not only can teams not score, they can't even move the ball.
So to really put this into perspective for you, this isn't just a good season. We're talking about a historic season. You have to rewind the clock all the way back to 1998 to find a Chiefs defense that gave up fewer yards through 8 games. That's a long, long time. So this isn't some statistical fluke, where a couple of good games make the average look good. No. This is a pattern, a consistent week after week pattern of just shutting opponents down. I mean, think about this. They've allowed 7 total points in the last 2 games. Combined. That's a level of dominance we really haven't seen from this team in this century. And it's so impressive that it's catching everyone by surprise, even the people who follow this team for a living. It's like, yeah, we all knew they were playing well, but I don't think anyone realized they were playing that well. So the big question is, right, how are they pulling this off? Well, it turns out this defense isn't some one-trick pony. They're super versatile. They can beat you in a bunch of different ways. It's like they have 2 different modes. First, you've got total suffocation mode. That's what they did to the Raiders, holding them to a measly 30 offensive plays for the whole game. But then they have clutch mode. They might bend a little, give up some yards, but they don't break. Against the Commanders, they just came up with these huge, timely, game-saving plays. An interception here, or 4th down stop there, right when they absolutely had to. But here's the thing. As amazing as they've been, this defense is staring down the barrel of its toughest test all season. The road ahead is, well, it's brutal. I mean, look at this schedule. It's an absolute gauntlet. We're talking tough road games and matchups against some of the best offenses in the league. Buffalo, Dallas, you name it. This is it. This is the ultimate test. We're going to find out just how real this defense is.
And if they're going to survive that stretch, there's one potential weak spot they might need to work on, and that's the pass rush, getting consistent pressure on the opposing quarterback.
Now, don't get me wrong, you've got guys like George Karlaftis and Chris Jones who are just playing out of their minds, absolutely elite. But as a whole team, they're actually in the bottom 10 for pressure rate. That's how often they're getting in the QB's face. And when you're about to play the quarterbacks on that schedule, you're going to need more than just 2 guys getting home. Others have to step up. So that leaves us with this one big question as the Chiefs head into this brutal part of their schedule. Is this elite defense, and not the famous offense, the real key to their championship hopes? We all know the offense is great, but what we're starting to realize is that this defense might just be what wins them